There's obviously been a lot of growth. I think the first time where, we really saw a baseline of what we could be was against Clarkson. Second, third period in those games, I think we gave up like 6 shots. Like obviously didn't get the win, but that was a big part for us. We're like, okay, like we have the ability in here. We have the ability to take over games. The next level is obviously the scoring. We've had it in spurts. I think the next level for us is obviously finding ways to 2-0 against Bowling Green and like take the next step and make it 3-0 instead of giving up 2 goals really quick. And I think if you look into our third periods, like we've given up goals fairly quickly in those first third of the periods or whatever it is. And we need to make sure that we can kind of grow from that and have that killer instinct, because ultimately a 2-0 game to a 3-0 game to a 4-0 game means more wins. Kyle's working on it. Obviously, coming off a year that he had, there's expectations and there's pressure. The biggest thing for him is, and it's obviously easy to say, is to not get super down on it. Focus on the positives, like for goal scorers, like are you generating scoring chances? Are you generating enough shot attempts in games to merit being able to score? I think Saturday he was involved in some opportunities. He had a couple good chances. Like as long as he has that continuance of, like I said, being involved offensively, kind of getting into areas where goals, pucks seem to go for goal scorers, like he's going to score, he'll get out of it, and like kind of streaky scorers, like they can score in bunches. Yeah, so probably over the last couple of weeks, we've been, going out in the morning, kind of doing some extra shooting. I know Jordy, Bots, myself, Coach, like we've all been kind of working on really trying to, I would say like me personally, I went back, looked at how he scored all his goals last year, looked at, a lot of his involvement. If you look at how his goals were scored last year, a lot of very dynamic, individual shooting type goals, and then soft area goals where he's getting into an area, essentially in the slot and shooting. So my message to him is like, okay, if this is how you're generating goals and that's how you've scored a lot of goals, like in junior, he was like a bumper guy on the power play, then it's just kind of, okay, like let's get you into those areas more. Let's get you consistently understanding that like, okay, like maybe in this clip, you're drifting outside of an offensive opportunity. When we can kind of get him to think in that capacity, what he's going to do, he's going to find himself in a better spot more times than not. And that's going to lead to not only more opportunities, but goals. I think if you look at Isaac, like obviously, freshman coming in, maybe high expectations for himself, but you never really know what your expectations are going to be overall. But he shoots pucks. Like you look at the goal, we go back to Augustana where he scored from behind the net. His goal that he scored against Bowling Green, like getting into that layer and tipping a puck. His biggest thing is just, he's opportunistic, but shot attempts, getting into dirty areas, finding pucks. And obviously, he's the type of guy, like, I think Mankato, like, he had a shot. I think he had 1 shot both nights. He scored on both of them. So that's pretty good shooting percentage. Like, he's a very diligent kid. Like, he's obviously, loves the game, loves to come out and do shooting, does a ton of extra in that capacity where he's, I was out with him this morning, like he wants to shoot, he wants to score, but the next level for him is that he bears down on all those chances. Like, you look at those top NHL guys, they need 1 chance. Like, from where he's scoring against Mankato, like in those games, like his expectation is he's 9 out of 10 on those. And when you consistently are doing it over and over in practice and you do it in skills, you don't really have that panic threshold when you get those shots, and that's when you can score them. Arvid is just an amazing kid, unbelievable captain, unbelievable leader, but just how he's kind of the next level extension of our coaching staff. So like on the bench, he's a vocal guy, and he's not just always like rah and like, come on, keep going, guys. He's not afraid to be slightly confrontational. And I think that's really the biggest thing, is that when we need maybe a little bit of a kick, he's there and he can do that. When we need to be brought up, he can do that. And obviously his game, like high intelligence player, like he has been massive towards not only our penalty kill improving, but over the years our penalty kill being really good is because he's a smart kid. He can inject his knowledge to it and help us even, because he's ultimately playing, we're ultimately coaching. Like when you're out there in the ice, you need guys with his brain and his understanding to be able to say, okay, like maybe we need to look into this read, maybe we need to look into this situation a little bit differently. And like I said, just the character he has as a person, that's why we need him so bad, because he's such a big part and such a big leader towards us. And our guys all respect him, and that's what you need. So coach is saying that, it's absolutely right. Like when he came in Saturday and he was playing and he was, like I said, on the bench, you notice him, you hear him positive, confrontational, whatever it is, he's working guys through it. And that in the end helps us. Obviously looking at the initial assessment of our team with that high ranking, I think on paper we looked really good. When you really, I guess, kind of look back or look to now and look back on it, our D were ultimately very young, not a ton of games. You kind of take for granted experience with D. And then really we have young forwards. Moser, Arvid, LP, those guys are older forwards, but, Kooks is a sophomore, Isaac's a freshman, Max is a freshman, Laurie's a freshman. So I think at times you're going to have those ups and downs, but what you're looking at once you get towards Christmas is you look at, okay, are your freshmen in the second half going to play like vets? Our hope for our D, and because we are getting growth out of our D, is that, the pace slows down for them, that it's not every single night they're this is too fast for us. And as you can see Matt Campbell's a great example. He's his first 5 games, he was probably, there was his first 5 games, but now you see him he's playing with poise, he can make good reads, he's got 4 points, leads us in Corsi basically every game. So when those guys start to figure out and have that growth, I think it's exactly what you're asking. Kind of what I'm saying is that the individual aspects of growth through games is what makes us better as a team. Any given night you're playing a team in our conference, it's going to be a tough out. You look at us, we're basically in a one goal game every single weekend. Now, I would love to be able to turn that into potentially a 2-goal game or a 3-goal game, so it's not down to the wire, but it just shows the parity in the conference. You can play Bowling Green, you can play Ferris. Obviously, St. Thomas is doing a really good job. They're in first place right now. You go to Bemidji is a tough team. You go to Mankato, they're a tough team. Lake State will be a tough team. So you have to be prepared every single night. You can't be sleeping. You have to, have a detailed game plan. You have to be ready to compete. You have to be ready to match the energy of every team, because every team you play in this conference, they're going to compete. You're never going to show up on a night and not have, a team that's trying to take you down. And then as we progress in the standings, our goal is to, win the CCHA. I would love to be in first place going into the Christmas break, but as you move up in the standings, every team wants to, you have a target on your back. They want to take you down. Okay, we want to beat the first place team in the league. So we know that from our preparation, that every single team we play is going to be a competitive, hard, grindy type team, and we have to match that. I was fortunate enough on my fly down was Northern Tech. So I saw it firsthand, just the kind of the build up from just everything, just seeing it. Coaching it, you're just it never really, you still have the same feeling. But realistically, our guys see it that way too. You can tell it's Northern week, it's rivalry week. It's time to go. It's just exciting. I love it. I have respect for Northern. I respect Grant, I respect their coaches and stuff like that. But ultimately, it is Northern Michigan, and you do want to, play your best and take a step forward in beating them. I know their power plays went down a little bit, but they have a top 10 ranked power play. They were 4th in the country for a while there. Good skill, have good players, good details. Like I said, they're going to be an offensive team that you have to be very diligent on your details defensively to stop them, because like you said, they're high scoring. They have no issue if you have breakdown scoring. They need a chance. They're a team where if they have 3 chances, they can have 3 goals. You look at our game when they beat us last year, same thing. Early on, we had 3 mistakes and game's 3-0. So a lot of credit to them for that offensively. Now, how we try to kind of go against that is play detailed, play structured. Obviously, compete in hardness in a rivalry game is extremely important, but our biggest thing is just playing our game and sticking to our details and making sure that we're not making mistakes that are giving an offensive team chances because we know that they can score just like that.